Towns and cities in Australia are so much cleaner and safer than what they are in the UK. This is one of the biggest things that I noticed after going back to the UK for a visit, after living in Australia for 2 years, and that was how clean and safe the towns and cities are in Australia compared to the UK. I cannot believe how much this stood out to me after living in Australia and then going back. Because I'd been used to the UK my whole life, UK towns, I've been in London a lot, but because that was all I was used to, I never knew anything different. But after traveling to most cities in Australia, I could not believe how much cleaner them cities are. And in today's video, I'm going to go into a list of why I believe Australian towns and cities are a great place to live in 2025, but UK towns and cities, I personally couldn't think of many worse places to live currently. And this is for a number of reasons and something that I've definitely noticed over the last couple of years. I could not believe how bad UK towns looked after living in Australian cities, which in my opinion are so well kept, so clean, and a great place to live. So the first point is that it's safe. Now, I know I'll get some Aussies in the comments saying, oh, Australian cities aren't that safe and stuff. Yes, I appreciate them cities do have their dangerous areas, like any city does in the world. There's very few cities in the Western world, at least, that aren't dangerous in some areas. But I've not been to many cities as safe as the Australian cities, to be honest. I really haven't. Even in places like Adelaide, where I did actually have to live in some of the rougher suburbs, even then, they're not that bad. Not compared to some of the outskirts of UK towns and cities, for sure. You go to the outskirts of London, that's when you'll see rough. Honestly, like from my experience, like there is police and there is obviously crime. Like I say, you can't avoid that sometimes. But for me, I've never felt on edge or dangerous in any Australian cities. The only place I did was Alice Springs, where yeah, I did feel a bit on edge. But any of the big cities feel really safe. For example, my girlfriend would walk herself through the city all the time, even not late at night, but in the evening she would, and be absolutely fine. I would not let her walk through central London on a dark evening. There's no chance. Or any UK city for that matter. Maybe I'm being a bit naive to how safe they felt, but compared to the UK, like they did feel incredibly safe. The next thing is that they're so clean and so well kept. This is another thing that stood out to me about Australian cities. I mean, it does help that they're a lot more modern than UK cities, but not just the modern vibes, they were so well kept. Everything was clean. There weren't much rubbish on the streets. Going back to the UK, everything is so run down. It's dirty, there's rubbish all over the streets, homeless people everywhere. Yes, there's homeless people in Australia, but for me, nowhere near as bad as the UK. Do you know what I mean? Buildings falling apart, dirt on the streets, like the whole place looked grubby, it looked dirty, it looked run down. Compared to Australian cities where everything looks so well kept, it's so modern, and even the parks are so nicely kept. Everything is very well kept, which makes it a nice place to live for sure. The next thing is that the shops are open and it's vibrant, and it's just it's a vibrant place to be. UK high streets have completely died. Honestly, it's sad to see what has happened to the UK high street, but this is your average UK high street. I'll put it on the screen there. It is absolutely the most depressing place to be compared to an Australian high street, which is really busy, vibrant, shops are open and people are happy to be there. The UK high street has absolutely gone to and you look at a UK high street, anything that is open is not really a good thing. It's a pub, then it's a betting shop, then it's a vape shop, then another pub, corner shop, then another vape shop. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what? It's not good at all, and every other shop is boarded up or closing soon, and so many big retailers from UK high streets have closed in recent years. Obviously everything's moving online now, but in Australia, like you go down the high streets in some of the cities, they are so busy, they're vibrant, all the shops are open, people are out there drinking coffee and stuff. It's such a good vibe, they're clean, like I said. The UK high street, I don't know how they're going to bring it back, because it's sad to see, because I remember going down the high streets when I was a kid and everything would be open and busy. Now in 2025, UK high streets are pretty dark and dull. And there is a number of reasons for this, why Australian cities are vibrant. The UK, for a number of reasons, has gone to shit. I think a lot of people are moving out of UK towns and cities. Unfortunately, because of the rates of immigration and stuff into the UK currently, the towns and cities are being absolutely flooded, and English people are choosing to leave English cities, and they're the people who really want to take care of the UK towns and cities, are the English people who have grown up there their whole lives. They're the ones that want to take care of the cities, they're the ones that want it to do well, but people are fed up now and they're not happy with the state of the towns and cities, so they choose to leave. Lots of English people are leaving. If I ever move back to the UK, I will not be living in a UK city. Absolutely not. There's no chance. I'll be living in the countryside if possible. That is the best bet in the UK. But the crime is so much worse in cities now, and the government have priorities elsewhere. UK cities in general, they're just falling apart. In Australia, there's a lot of people moving there, but a lot of them people are English people. They're people from Asia who want to go there and study and work, and everyone's moving there for a positive reason. I've said this before, and I don't want to get too heavy on the whole immigration topic, but in Australia, if you want to go there as an immigrant, you've got to prove you can work there and have a positive effect on the country. You've got to work to help them out, get sponsored or something like that in order to actually live in Australia long term. It's a reason why Australia is safe and it's clean, and it's because they're bringing in respectful people to their country who want to help the country, who want to work hard and move into the Australian cities to create a good vibe. Australian cities, from my experience, are so much more vibrant. That they're a good place to be in 2025. I would happily live in an Australian city, not in a city centre because I'm not really about that city life, but I would happily go and live in the outskirts of a city, that's for sure. In the UK, no chance. So yeah, overall I think it's sad to see what's happened to the UK towns. They're not a good place to be in 2025, and it's after visiting the UK and after being in Australia, it's one of the #1 things that stood out to me is how rough, run down, dirty everything looked compared to the towns in Australia, where, you know, they're doing something right over there, because the cities are some of the cleanest and some of the nicest I've seen anywhere. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's just my opinions on the current state of UK cities and compared to Australian cities. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, I'll see you very soon with another video.